So we're gonna wait till we get further in to begin, which is quite a while. It's at -50 right now, so we've got to wait the rest of these 50 seconds and then plus a minute. I usually go just a minute, kind of let everyone get in when they need to get in. It is actually Wednesday, which means I'm supposed to be streaming today. So yeah, there's no one here when I'm supposed to be streaming. It's kind of weird. I think the one person that is here is actually my girlfriend. So we're about -5 seconds out. We'll get back in as we go. Yeah, about 12 seconds in, so we're gonna wait on as we go until we get to 1 minute. Once we get to 1 minute, we will be up and running. We're about 30 seconds in at this point for me. I know, yes, there is at times a possibility of lag in input between the encoder and the screen and everything that's being recorded. Bear with it. It is actually quite common, so just roll with it as it does what it's doing. We're about 50 seconds in. Change the live stream, their title. I'm going to type about Hangout stream. How about that? All right, so we are a minute in. So first things first, the most important thing of all streams from now on. My boys Pepsi have these wonderful little product right here called Mountain Dew. I am not officially sponsored by them, but I should be because I drink Mountain Dew religiously. So I am unofficially sponsoring them in hopes that they will give me a sponsorship at some point in time. Hook me up, Pepsi. I'll hook you all up with viewers. Got you. I got 1,000 subs, but hey, that could be more customers for you. So let's do it and get it done. Help me out, Pepsi. I'll help you out. Nothing better than Mountain Dew after a long ass day. Work my ass off. Child friendly stream. My apologies. So, what are we doing on stream today? I don't know. It depends. I'm not particularly in the mood to update the website at all, but I am particularly in the mood to talk about stories, about what happened today, because something interesting happened today, and it is within belief that I could tell you guys about what happened today. I just feel as if I can. I know there's literally no one here in chat at all, and the one time that I am live streaming, the live stream is going well, and I have no lag or anything like that, so fantastic. Absolutely love my internet service provider. I wish Google would get out here with the Google Fiber so that I could step up this service as needed. Hurry up, Google. I need you. So, something interesting happened today that blew my mind. It just, sometimes I wonder, right? Every Wednesday, the place of work that I work at, we have this wonderful class-wide field trip. By class-wide, what I mean is that every group goes on the field trip that is required to go. So there are 3 different groups at the place of work that I work at. We have 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade all combined to make up one group. Then we have 4th and 5th grade combined to make up one group. And then we have middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Middle school is barred from going to the movies and pool with us because middle school can opt out for more interesting things. It is understandable. I can guarantee that not all middle schoolers would like to go see the kids type movies that we are seeing. They would much prefer to go see a little bit more adult rated entertainment, aka PG-13 movies. The movies that we have to see in theaters with 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade are PG rated movies. The movies that middle school can watch are up to PG-13. So, middle school did not have to go with them today. Anyhow, let's bring it back. We have a wonderful schedule. I wish I could show it to you. I am legally bound and unable to show it to you. That has all of our field trips on it. That was planned out before summer camp had even begun. The times that we were leaving, the cost of the field trip, who's going. He was kind of a part of it. It's not the biggest a part of it. Essentially, it boils down to the time that we were leaving and how much it cost, and then the place that we're going to and the date. Those 4 things are the main concerns and what we want to talk about now. Also, I apologize. My nose is a little bit stuffy on this side only, literally just this side. I guess this side a little bit too, but hopefully it's giving me a little bit. We'll work through it. Today, I was scheduled, and I thought I was crazy. I've been scheduled to come in this entire week at 10:30. No problem. I leave at 6. That gives me just under 7 hours every single day. No, I apologize. Just under 8 hours every single day to work. I want to say that puts me right under 40 hours, and the extra hours that I need to get the 40 can very easily be obtained if I ever need them. I don't technically need them, but I can get them. Well, how do I say this? I got there at 10:30, my designated scheduled time of when I am supposed to be there. You know, it makes sense to come in when the schedule tells you to. And everyone was gone except middle school. This is a little fishy. I will let you all know that the group that I work with in particular is 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. There are 3 groups. 2 of the 3 are missing, and one of those missing groups is my group. Okay. I walked down to the front office. I asked the person in charge at the time. Hi, so-and-so. I'm not going to say their name. I'm scheduled to come in at 10:30. As you can see, it's 10:35, but my group isn't here. And she just kind of, you know that, what do you mean you came in at 10:30? That type face? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That's the type of face that she gave me. And I explained to her, I was like, I know, I thought I was a little crazy too. I knew it said 10:30 because I checked it when I came in on Tuesday, and that's what I'm scheduled to come in for the rest of the week, and here I am and my group's not here. So I straight up told her, before she had given me a job, I told her what I was going to do. Because there's 2 options for me at this point. My 2 options are I go back home until my group gets back around 12, which would be both a waste of gas, and by the time I get home, I'd be able to get 30 minutes of sleep in and then have to go right back. It's just not worth it. Because sleep is the only thing that I was really concerned about at that point. Or my other option was to become busy all of a sudden so that I was not required to go home and I could still sit around on the payroll is what I was looking for. I can still sit around on payroll doing my job as I needed to. Well, I told her I was going to be with the middle school group. I know some of the middle school group. I don't know all of the middle school group. My goal is to get to know everyone on some level. I'm attempting to make personal connections one-on-one with each child because that leads to a successful future in a child. Because they will have someone there that will foster their growth into the world. Hey dear. Well, sorry. I went down the middle school group and I hung out with middle school for about 2 hours. It upsets me that our schedule was set so far in advance that they would schedule me. The schedules are made a week beforehand. So this schedule was made last week. The person who made the schedule understood what was going on this week in terms of field trips and what time we were leaving. There was no excuse for not knowing because there was a schedule with that information posted on it. I was scheduled to come in at a time where I was quote unquote not needed and would have been sent home. I don't believe that there is any malice in this action, as in she was trying to get me to come in at that time so that she could send me home and save on hours for employees, and I wasn't going to take that as an answer because, quite frankly, I was scheduled to come in at 10:30, and whether or not my group is there, I will tell you now that I can find things that need to be done around that place of work that I could do. Guaranteed. The closet that we use for storage is an absolute mess, and I am the only one for the past year who has ever attempted to clean it. And by clean, I literally mean that I walk in there with a big black trash bag, and anything on the floor that cannot be salvaged goes in the trash bag. Crayons, pencils, markers, books that have pages torn out of them, paper, arts, crafts projects, all that goes in the trash bag. Game pieces that we no longer have, I can't find, we don't have enough pieces for, trash. Board games, hey, if we don't have the pieces for them, they go in the trash can. I understand kids can be creative, but the other part of kids is that they can be destructive. We lose quite a bit of small pieces because those small pieces will end up in vacuum cleaners, kids' bags, so on and so forth. It's quite a lot of them to a quite few number of us. And because of that, we lose things naturally. So if I am unable to salvage it, it goes in my wonderfully big black trash bag, and at the end of the day, I will take it out of the closet and throw it in our dumpster to be hauled off at the appropriate times that it needs to be hauled off. I was ready to hit her with that if it had come to that. She said that hanging out with middle school was okay, so I got to be with middle school for 2 hours. Fantastic. The other part of this wonderful day came in the form of a text message. This came in at 12:17 is when I got this text message, right about lunchtime. It says, please make sure you follow the schedule so-and-so posted for the week, the person in charge of scheduling. Please make sure you take your lunch breaks. I believe that after 8 hours, you are required to take a lunch break. I am not entirely sure. I could be wrong. Who knows? If you want to make changes to your schedule for any reason, please talk to so-and-so in charge of scheduling next week. They will be back Tuesday. The person in charge of scheduling is away on a mission trip to a state far, far away from here, about 500, 600 miles from here. No, I would say more than that. We are in the thousands at this point, now that I think about it. Quite a long distance away, and I can guarantee does not want to be bothered right now. So, we are apparently also having problems with people switching schedules. As it has been explained to me from other people, not just one person, other people, in case there are those of you out there watching from our place of residence. First off, tell me that you're here, please. That would be nice to know. Second off, listen closely. It is multiple people telling me this, not just one person. So do not go pointing your finger at one person until you can find all of them. Then don't come talk to me about this. we have designated time slots. We have people who open in the morning. We have people who are here in the middle of the day. And then we have people who are here until closing. We open at 6:30 and we close at 6:30. It's pretty simple. It's a straight 12 hours, which means we have 4 hours somewhere between people. So a normal schedule basically looks like this. Someone comes in at 6:30 and opens. That person will take a lunch break right around lunchtime basically, and then leave around 2:30. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So they leave around 2:30 is what time they leave. There's about a 30-minute break to an hour break in there. The next person will come in at 8:30 and will leave at 4:30. I come in at 10:30 and leave at 6. Used to be 6:30, but to my benefit, I have been given the gracious opportunity of leaving early and not having to close every single day like I did for the entirety of the school year in the aftercare program. I will go back to doing that once the aftercare starts again, but it will be easier because everything will be much more organized when our old boss comes back and starts shoving his foot up people's rear ends like is needed. Fantastic. So there's an issue going around where people are wanting to trade time slots. I understand we are all adults. It is summertime. Some people have kids. Those kids have doctor appointments, but they still need to come to work to support their children. That makes sense. Makes sense on a deep and personal level. I would never like to see a child suffer because I am too much of an ass, too much of an arse to trade my time slot with you. If my time slot could somehow benefit you, I would trade time slots with you. However, that has become an issue because people are wanting the quote-unquote best time slot, I believe is what they're calling it. The best time slot is 7:30 to 2:30, I believe, is when that time slot ends. So, because they're fighting over this time slot, and the person who currently owns the time slot is really nice, nothing against that person. I absolutely adore that person, actually. So, me and that person are the closest out of everyone. That person is giving them the time slot. Okay, I'll switch with you. You switch with me. We're fine. It has devolved into an elementary school cafeteria. So the best way I could do this with demonstrating food items and drinks. So I've got a few different ones that we roll with. I've got a juice muffin and a Mountain Dew. So here's how this is going to work. We'll make the analogy here using wonderful props. I know some of you out there are visual learners. I myself sometimes need a visual diagram representation of things to wrap my head around it. So we're going to use these props here to wrap our heads around this. All right, so I'm going to bring up OBS just to make sure I'm getting this right, because I can see without the lag here. So here we go, right? I come to school. I've got this wonderful juice. This is totally juice. This is by Sun Cup. This is the berry flavor. It's pretty good. This is 6.75 fluid ounces. I'm a little more thirsty than that. I mean, 6.75 fluid ounces. We'll round it up to 7. 7 fluid ounces. That's not a lot. I could get a little bit more out of that, right? So I look across the table and I see someone down there's whipping out a 12-ounce can of Mountain Dew. I want me some Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew tastes a little bit better than this juice. I know the juice is better for me, but do I really care about the health benefits as opposed to getting more quantity out of it? I would rather have the Mountain Dew. So I take the juice and I trade it for my wonderful can of Mountain Dew, which I will take a drink of. Boom. I now have a 12-ounce can of Mountain Dew. I'm happy. I just made out like a bandit. Someone was dumb enough to give me 12 fluid ounces for 7 fluid ounces? Come on, I got away with 5 extra fluid ounces. And this is a soda compared to a juice as a kid. Man, I'm happy. Boom. You know, but before I even opened that Mountain Dew, I realized something. I'm a little bit more hungry than I am thirsty. You know, the school is kind enough to have water fountains throughout the cafeteria that I don't need juice or Mountain Dew for. So I take a look at the Mountain Dew, I reevaluate. I'd rather eat. I'd rather be full. I want something more filling than just a Mountain Dew. So I take a look down to the right, and little Mary down there has these wonderful Uncle Wally's Bake Shop chocolate chip muffins twin pack. This one's empty. I ate this last night. You know, that's how many? This is 4 ounces. 4 ounces is not a lot actually, but hey, 4 ounces. I got 4 ounces of muffin. You know, I got a 12 fluid ounce can of Mountain Dew. 4 ounces of muffins. Chocolate chip too. Chocolate chip's pretty good. You know, banana nut. I don't particularly care for banana nut. I probably don't want any of that. Blueberry. I like blueberry pretty good too, but the problem with blueberry is sometimes you get that weird crunch out of blueberry. So I'd rather chocolate chips. My safest bet. She got the chocolate chip. Hey, tomorrow she could have banana nut. Maybe this is my chance. Hey, hey Mary, I see there you've got some chocolate chip muffins. You haven't opened it yet, and I haven't opened my Mountain Dew yet. Excuse me, sorry about that. I understand that back at home, you don't know the joys of what we call soda. You just moved down from another country, and up there your family was really big into not drinking any soda. So here's what's up. I'll trade you my soda so that you can have it without your parents yelling at you if you give me your muffin. Boom, deal happens. I've gotten rid of my Mountain Dew. I can go down to the water fountain anytime I want. I've got muffins. Eat my muffins, I'm happy. Well, 2 days go by, 3 days go by, 4 days later. Little Mary's sitting down the table. I look down at her. I'm like, whoa, oh, Mary, I forgot to ask you, how'd you like the soda? She looks over. She goes, I hate you. Remember, elementary school cafeteria. This is about what the conversations are. Oh, what do you mean you hate me? Well, you got me in trouble because I wasn't supposed to have soda and I had it anyways. That's what this entire situation's evolved into. That was a really long and drawn out conversation, but I guarantee, right, if that was like my greatest stream highlight right there. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Well, turns out Mary was not supposed to have soda, and her parents are health freaks and found out about it because Mary's urine had an excessive amount of sugar in it when she peed, because health nuts measure urine. Got you guys, don't worry. Well, now she doesn't like me. She yelled at her parents yelled back at her, and her parents grounded her. That's essentially what happened here. They switched time slots. That person took the time slot happily, left at a time that they were supposed to according to that time slot. Unfortunately, that came back to bite other people in the butt, and because that came back to bite other people in the butt, it has now been ruled that we are not allowed to trade time slots anymore, is essentially what it comes down to. It doesn't matter the reason. If I'm scheduled to come in on this day, I'm scheduled to come in on that day. I'm scheduled to come in at that time. I'm scheduled to come in at that time. That's what it comes down to. It makes sense. The problem is if you make a schedule and you put it out and everyone's supposed to be following it. It's trading time slots, making up new time slots, and things like that. Well, you got to put a stop to it. If you don't put a stop to it, it's only going to get worse. If it gets worse, sounded like an electric toothbrush came on. I think it's just the fan to the computer, but I'm not entirely sure. Essentially, if we have scheduling complaints, we need to give it to the person in charge of scheduling. The person in charge of scheduling is not back until next week. It's already Wednesday of this week. There's no point in us entirely complaining about it. I don't think at this point it's that big of a deal. I didn't think it was that big of a deal to begin with. If I've traded time slots with someone when I'm supposed to trade time slots with someone and they left at the time that they were supposed to leave, that's the time that they were supposed to leave. Well, so that's one thing that happened today. What else happened today? Today was one of those days. There is a couple different stages of. Oh, it was my refrigerator. That's what it was, because my refrigerator just turned off. I wonder if there's something wrong with it. I might have to check on that. If it continues, I'll check on it. There is a certain amount of being pissed off before you hit this really, really dark area. You get this really nice, calm pissed off, and that's the scariest type of pissed off. For any of you who have ever really pissed your parents off and then instantly regretted it because their face got really calm, and you could tell that they made peace with themselves and that they were ready to die at that moment with whatever they were about to do to your ass. Sorry, kid-friendly channel. I apologize. That's where I was today. And I'm still just a little bit there. It is frustrating because there are people who continually do things that they see fit despite your warnings about safety. My job is to keep you safe. Your job is to help me keep you safe. That is our official description of what we do with our kids. My job is to keep you safe. Your job is to help me keep you safe. Helping me keep you safe could come down to listening to directions once told, listening to warnings, participating in group activities, so on and so forth. Me keeping you safe can come down to me yelling at you because you need to stop climbing on the outside of the playground. Pretty logical thing. Or it could be me yelling at you to be quiet because y'all are too loud and I can't hear if someone is calling me for help. I had someone out in the field today who just sat there crying and no one came and helped him. I think it's a very sad time. That kid was luckily not seriously injured, because if he was seriously injured, we are losing time to fix that injury before the damage to it become permanent. I'm tearing up a little bit actually, because this is how sad it is. I'm not tearing up because of the fan. This is actually me tearing up. This kid was just on part of the hill, playing around, doing his own thing, and he fell on his knee. We have parking spaces out on the field that we play at, which is very dumb. I understand that. I have voiced my complaints about that, and they have been met, but they have not been met. That's something that we can get into another time. Well, this kid fell, and when he fell, he hit his knee on one of the parking spaces, and he just sat there. He didn't feel like he could move. He didn't feel like he could walk, so he couldn't come get one of us. I didn't ask him if he yelled, but if he had yelled, I would have been able to hear him if other kids weren't so loud. So, kids are kids, they will yell, but it is of a safety concern that if I cannot hear other people calling my name when they get hurt, we have issues. I luckily was able to deal with the kid. The kid actually bounced back really well. He just needed just someone to talk to more than anything. That's what he really needed. Um, I walked over and I asked him, I was like, hey, did someone hurt you? He said, no, I was just doing my own thing. He's a really honest kid. I have a lot of difficulties with this kid because he needs to be doing something and he needs to be doing something now, right? You always need to give him something to do. So I'll carry a Rubik's Cube around with me. Now, I love Rubik's Cubes because unless you know how to do them, you'll never figure them out. That's the best part. So you hand them to a kid and tell him to solve one side, even just one side. One color side, you'll be done for the day. And then they'll sit there for 15, 20 minutes is about the longest that I've ever gotten out of someone. And they'll just try to figure it out. I give it to this kid. This kid will sit down for 30, 45 minutes on end trying to figure it out. He even like develops his own games that he wants to play with it, where it'll be like a transformer or something. And he'll sit there and you're like, oh, transform to this mode. And then he'll do a few different combinations to try to get the side done. And he's like, okay, well, we're going to change up tactics to this transformation. And he'll transform it again. That's what he does. So he hasn't been able to figure out a side yet. He's come pretty close. He's done a middle section of the yellow and then one of the edges of the yellow for a total of 6 squares in total. And then he just had one more edge. But he couldn't get the other edge without messing up the other 6. So that's the paradox of the Rubik's Cube. You have to mess up the other edges to complete a side. So anyhow, the other thing is I've had kids who are repeat offenders upset me a lot because it comes back to an old age adage. And I know the majority of you, even the young ones here, I know I have a lot of young ones. Listen to me when I say this. I can lead you to the water, but that does not mean you will drink the water. That water could contain 72 minerals and vitamins that your body needs immediately. You could have been stuck in the Sahara. It is a desert, for those of you who do not know. It does not get a lot of water, for those of you who do not know what a desert is. You could have been stuck in that desert for a week on end with little to no water, and I could lead you to an oasis full of water, and you would just stare at it. I do that a lot with these kids, and it's frustrating because it will escalate to levels that it should have stopped before it got there. So today we were playing at the playground. Pretty normal. They played this game called Sharks and Minnows, but it's not the normal Sharks and Minnows. Basically what it comes down to is we have a playground and then we have a rock. And then our flooring is blue rubber mulch. So the kids use their imagination and their creativity. The blue rubber flooring is the sea, the rock is an island, and the playground is a boat that is sinking. There is a shark within the blue ocean sea that must tag the people coming off of the playground that are trying to swim, aka run, to the rock. Once you get on rock, you are on base. The last one to rock is it if no one is tagged. That's how it works. It's a pretty simple game. It's actually very effective. It's one of their favorite games to play. It's great. I love watching them play it because it's more inclusive rather than exclusive. Because no matter what, you are going to be it. Someone else will be it at the end of the round. So even people who don't like getting it, all they have to do is really survive for that one round and then someone else will be it. It doesn't come down to, well, you didn't tag anyone, you have to be it again. And then having the same person over and over and over again. I understand that. That is a consistent problem with people who are slower than others. I have leveled the playing field. Well, there is also a picnic bench on this playground that counselors sit at. Children can sit at this picnic bench too, but they were playing Sharks and Minnows, so it would make sense to divert attention away from the picnic table to go over to the rock where base is. I had a student who was getting chased by the shark run and sit at the picnic table and then say, oh, I'm on base. And then the shark turned around and ran away. And I looked down at the student and I was like, no, base is not over here. Base is over at the rock. The rock is a little bit tall. It's just about as tall as y'all are now. Y'all about 4 foot, 5 foot off the ground. I'm 6. No, y'all about 4 foot. There's no way y'all 6 foot. Yeah, there's no way y'all 6 foot. I'm 4 foot. Um, sorry. Y'all are 4 foot off the ground right now, so this is about as tall as the rock is. I know y'all can't really tell your depth, your height that well. So let me stand up and I'll show y'all. Y'all are the rock to me. I can stand over it like this, and this is where the top is, and then it slopes upwards. So I can lean over it and it'll come up to here. It'll come up higher. So this is a pretty tall rock. So what makes the rock very good for playing this game is that you can reach out with your arms and you have this wide open surface area to catch yourself on to stop yourself when you're running, which is critical in a game that involves stopping very fast because you are running headlong away from a person trying to tag you, so you are it. I told the person that the rock was base and that the picnic bench was not, and to basically not come back. I was worried about that student getting hurt because she would not be able to catch herself on the picnic table. When she went to stop, she would slip, something would get hurt, and then we'd be in trouble. Would you not understand if I told you that 5 minutes later, I kid you not, literally 5 minutes later, the same person came running at full force at the picnic table. And I watched it happen. At this point, it was going to happen no matter what I tried to say to her to get her to stop. She reached out with her hands. Y'all can't really see my countertop all too well, so I apologize. But the countertop's about as how thick as the table is. She reached out for her hands. She went, both of them for the countertop. Obviously, it's a picnic table, so there's a countertop, and then there's a bench down here. And then there's airspace so that your legs can sit there. She went for the countertop to catch it in between the crevices of her hands, right? Like this. This is how she was going to catch herself. This is the tabletop. This is the air on the bottom. Her hands went right underneath it, which means she had nothing to stop herself with. She ran headlong into our picnic table, and her shin was the first thing that made contact with the wooden bench. And at that point, I thought it was broken. That's how hard she hit this thing. She hit this thing hard. And when she hit this thing hard, all activity on that playground stopped. It ceased instantly because that's how hard she hit it. Everyone felt it. That's how hard she hit this thing. I'm pretty sure she also moved the picnic bench like just a millimeter because she hit it that hard. She doesn't weigh a lot, so I didn't expect centimeters or anything like that. But she hit this bench hard, and she immediately started crying. I am both sympathetic and unsympathetic in this situation. Unsympathetic because I've already warned against this, and this is kind of I have warned you, you have not learned from that mistake. The next best thing I can give you is hurting you without killing you, so that you learn from your mistake to the best of your ability. Hey, Dell. I am also sympathetic because I just watched someone run headlong into a picnic table. Like, I have done some dumb things in my life on vacation, and that involved jumping picnic tables and almost broken my leg. This basically the same way, but it was jumping from one picnic table to the other, and I completely misjudged the jump, and I hit my shin on the table and ended up facing on the table. That's a story for another time. If y'all remind me on a later live stream, I will tell y'all that story too. Well, her shin was fine. She was very distraught about getting hurt. Believe it's swollen. It swelled up. Swollen. I believe that it swelled up. I think swelled is the word. I think it swelled up at that point. She was crying about it, and then all of a minute after crying, she just kind of like was in the middle of crying, and then got up and went back to playing. So I was going to go get her ice, and then she just got back up and started playing. And I was like, well, at that point, you don't need ice because you are proving to me at this point in time that you are capable of playing. You don't need ice if you can stand up on your feet and get right back to it. But that's a good case scenario. This is serving as a warning, right? These incidents that we're having are warnings that have been set in place by a higher being that is not me. Chances are it is God, who is telling us to get all of our ducks in a row so that the second someone says go, we can shoot them all and get them all down and good to go. Well, we shall have done that, so all these horrible events will keep happening in increased severity from what I believe. This is all me. This is all opinion, no fact to this, but for all I know, this could be a wonderful test to see whether or not we are going to be the correct influences in these children's lives. I am also having this problem. This is a very, very big issue, and it's a continuous issue that I've had with the same student. We're about to get into some very sad territory. So for those of you who are a little bit younger, if you don't want to hear such depraving stories, you may leave. So please, I'll give you all a couple seconds while I take some Mountain Dew. So, I have a student in my group who is redhead. To be completely honest, when he grows up, he's going to look Irish. It's just in his genes. It really is. He's redhead all the way around. He got the freckles on his face. He's got the broad shoulders already for his age, and he's just got this attitude, like beyond attitude. Right? He just likes to yell really loud. Trust me when I say the second he grows up, he's gonna be the stereotype of the Irish people. That's unfortunate of me to say, but that is the truth. I am setting the characteristics for you of this child. We had issues during aftercare of another student picking on this student and calling him leprechaun. He's short right now. I know he's going to go through a growth spurt. During the growth spurt, he's going to be a lot taller. But because he's short, they call him leprechaun. It fits, unfortunately, well, and that's what makes it even worse. Because it fits, the student being picked on, being called leprechaun, feels as if it's true. It's not true. He doesn't deserve to feel that way. That is the exact definition of bullying. Someone is trying to belittle someone else to raise themselves higher. So we dealt with that student, at least to say. The bully was dealt with in aftercare. Well, after that bully was dealt with, another one popped up in aftercare. This is still months ago. That bully was dealt with as well. Very quick, the second the parent came in and complained about the child being bullied by someone called so-and-so, that person was called aside and talked to about this person, and they were left alone after that. Well, turns out that child is still being bullied because 3 people came forward today and were called out about their bullying behaviors because they were bullying that child again. And they were bullying that child to the point where that child was talking about wanting to commit suicide, which is not okay. So, yeah. This child, keep in mind, is in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, is only 6 years old, and he's talking about suicide. That's a very young age to be talking about suicide, and I don't think he understands the implications of what it means to fully commit suicide. I don't even know if he knows what suicide means, but at the same time, 6 years old wants to commit suicide is distraught. Disturbing is a good word. And we'll add insult and injury to this wound. One of the people bullying this particular student, his older sister walked up to the school, a local school, after hours and killed herself because of people bullying her. and did it on a school campus so that the people who bully her would not find her body, but would be haunted by the fact that her body was on campus when she died. So um, one of the bullies should be very well aware of what happens when other people bully one another. Bullying is, in fact, a serious issue in schools everywhere, not just public schools, private schools, charter schools. Hey, it doesn't even have to be school. Grown adults can be bullies as well. Racism, homophobia, Islamophobia, any type of religion that you're afraid of, any type of phobia that you're afraid of, other people, any type of that can be considered bullying. So the bullying is obviously a serious issue. You cannot be nice to everyone 24/7. Sometimes you just lose your mind and you do not have time to breathe and think about the words that are about to come out of your mouth. I've had a little bit of time to think about this, basically on the car ride over, so I'm fine. Things are getting bad socially, yes, which is why at the end of the day you commit to something and you commit to the right thing. The reason I've never left this job in particular is because I'm committed to the kids, and the kids are what matter the absolute most. The problem with society nowadays is that the kids are not giving the necessary love and attention that they are getting. I understand it. I've seen it firsthand because I am on the front lines of this issue every single day. I have seen a child who has been neglected by his mom, and I will tell you now that it is in DCF regulations that if your child is not receiving enough love or attention, that child can be taken from you. It is there. I am a mandatory reporter. If I see that your child is not getting enough love, attention, nourishment, if it comes to nourishment, physical activity, playtime, social activity is also a huge thing. If your child is antisocial and does not like playing with others, I can have your kid taken away from you because of that. Because that is stunting their growth as a human being. I've never wanted to go there. I've never had to go there, and God forbid I do, because I will never want to do something like that to another uh, grown person who is a mom or dad. But if I have to, I will, because that child is more important, because it is not me who will change the world. It is the next generation, and the next generation is right in front of me. So fixing the next generation is my primary concern right now. So that is why I've committed to the children. I'm not committed to the money. I'm not committed to the people who work there. I'm not committed to the social status of being an after-scare or summer camp counselor. In fact, I don't think there's any social status that comes with it in the first place. I think McDonald's workers actually get praised more for working at McDonald's rather than people who take care of children every single day, some of which are absolutely depraved and need the most love and attention I could possibly give them. I am one human being. Unfortunately, I can give at most one other human being all of my love and attention. It is very difficult to do when I have 30 kids alone in a room. So, what is this? Oh, sorry, Anna. I sent you a message. I don't know why I about that. What else has happened? The victim of all this bullying, parents have both threatened to remove that child from the program. And if they ask me about it, I will tell them straight to remove that child from the program because that child, it is not because that child has no place in this program. I believe it's because that child is being tainted by the program more than what the program is helping. That child is getting a form of social communication that is not desired. That child has grown. The previous summer, that child was, in fact, not an angel. In fact, this summer, that child is not an angel either. I have seen the best of him. I have seen the worst in him. I can see both ways. I am able to do that. I have two eyes. One eye is good for bad things. The other eye is good for good things. Bad things, good things. I think I said it right. If I didn't, y'all know what I meant. So, I believe at this point, the best thing to do is to remove the child from the program if this behavior continues. Because I've talked to as many kids as I can. I can't remove every single kid in the program aside from one. Obviously, that's not going to work. I can't remove every single bully that bullies him until he's the only kid left, because one kid's tuition is not going to pay the entirety of the business bills. So I can't just keep kicking out kids left and right for making fun of other kids and things like that. So, yeah, it's very difficult to find out where we go from here. It's 12:16. Actually, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I dozed off very briefly right there. It was like a split second. My eyes went closed and I did kind of something like that. It was me falling asleep. So I talked for a little bit. I usually talk about this type of stuff to my grandparents, but I was out with my girlfriend for a little bit tonight, enjoying each other's company, watching Judge Judy videos and so on and so forth, and just a couple other different video types on the way out. My eyes are closed and I'm currently falling asleep, so I gotta go. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll lay back down to bed. I've already downed all the Mountain Dew. I really don't need to grab another one, and that's how you get self-control. You tell yourself that you do not need another one. I have had one. I will not get dehydrated in that short amount of time. If in fact I do get dehydrated, I will go get water out of the fridge in the kitchen, because water is ultimately healthier for me anyways. So, I will see you guys later. I have streamed twice this week. If I stream any more, you are welcome. It is a gift from me to you, my subscribers. I have streamed on Wednesday like I was supposed to. 3 people came out. 2 of you talked to me. I appreciate Odell and Yana for doing so. We will see if more people come out next stream, and if I can stream a little bit earlier tomorrow. I should be home earlier tomorrow and able to do more things. I had to cut the grass Tuesday. That's why I was not able to stream. After doing that, I had to run up to BJ's to pick up. No, I streamed Tuesday anyways, didn't I? Interesting. Did I stream yesterday? I did yesterday. I don't remember these types of things. Funny. I appreciate you guys coming out for watching on this ending note. Remember to follow me Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where I post social media updates every Monday and Friday. Sometimes I forget. I apologize. Wow, you came in at the last second. I apologize, mate, but I am leaving. Yeah. Also, check out my website at bluejazzandmustard.weebly.com. I just updated it a little while ago with some new guns, so go check that out. Because I think before I start any new gun projects or finish any existing gun projects I have, which is like 4 or 5 at this point, there's quite a bit actually. I shouldn't even lie about it. We're going to finish updating the website because the website takes precedence. The website's actually pretty important, believe it or not. I know it's just kind of sitting there, so we should update it as much as we can. So, website will be getting updated slowly but surely. After the website is updated, we can move on to building more guns. Also remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel so y'all get notified when I go live. I try to live stream every Wednesday and Sunday. This is the first Wednesday in like 4 weeks that I've been able to stream. So if you would like to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell notification so that you get the notification when I go live, that is your best guaranteed way to get into live streams and be on personal one-on-one communication conversations with me. That's how things are the best, is basically what it comes down to. So I believe that is everything that I need to plug. Thank you guys so much for coming out and watching. I'll see you guys later in another live stream some other time. Goodbye.